Yes! Oh, it is. It is a Friday episode of Donno Daily here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Big weekend coming up, my friends. Was not a great night, though, last night, at least not for the Miami Heat. I finally managed to do what I thought was impossible. I finally managed to mush the Miami Heat. We'll get into what was concerning and what's not so concerning about that massive L the Heat took to the Boston Celtics, 95-78 last night. I respect what King Wooby put in the chat. It's one game, LOL. Yeah, listen, I'm not saying that after one game, anybody who thought the Heat were going to win the East or win a championship should say, oh, well, last night, that means, boom, we're not going to win a title this year. We're not going to win the East. We're not going to make the playoffs. Don't overreact in that way. But I think that there was one or two things that are concerning about that performance and that L that the Heat took last night. One of them has to do with injury. I know everybody's talking about this. Oh, David says we should also let Manny hit you with his shoes. That's my punishment for being the mush. You know who's not the mush? Our sports bar partner, best sports bar in the business, the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. Guys, the Quarterdeck is my spot to watch every big game and to watch every UFC pay-per-view fight. We have a big one this weekend, UFC 268. You can watch that at no cover charge at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. We're going to see, hopefully, a lot of you viewers there, maybe the ones who are out of town. I would forgive you if you don't show up. But anyone within the South Florida area, I hope to see you guys out at the Quarterdeck Sawgrass, the Quarterdeck location, Sunrise Boulevard, right near the FLA Live Arena where the Florida Panthers play. We're going to have a watch party at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill, Sawgrass, on Monday night. Heat at Nuggets, Monday Night Football. It is going down. Enjoy the great drink specials while you're out there. 2-for-1 happy hour. That is all day, every day at the Quarterdeck. The seafood is so delicious. I'm going to have some buffalo shrimp out there. Bet your ass on that. I love the sushi. I love the fresh mahi. I love the burgers, the French dip sandwich. The pastas and salads are so good at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. If you want to find the location nearest to you or peep their menu before you go, check them out online at quarterdeckrestaurants.com. We will see you at the Quarterdeck on Monday night with 5 Reasons Sports. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. We have an official sports book on Donno Daily. And I know I'm the mush, but I've actually had an okay week betting-wise. And it's always a great week when you make your bets at BetUS.com, America's favorite sports book. It's not only about who you bet, it's also about where you bet, and BetUS has impeccable customer service. They've got the best bonuses in the industry to keep you playing longer. We've got a sweet bonus for you. When you sign up at our sportsbook, BetUS.com, use our code when you make your deposit. Use our code 5RSN125. And they're going to give you a 125% sign-up bonus. So if you deposit $100, they're going to give you $125 of free play money on top of your deposit, so you can have a lot of fun. And then you can bet sports, casino. They have live card games and slots in there, everything you can possibly imagine. Horses. You can bet pop culture props and more at BetUS.com. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. Hello to everyone who's already been shooting the breeze with us in the chat. My guy David, Brooklyn Rob, that I call them the Mush Mob because they're always coming at me with pitchforks. Mush, mush, mush. Louis Sung Sr., hello to you. Rafa Shaw, hello to you, sir. Trevor Gaffney is in. I love it. And I think that's it from the G.A. Canes fan as well. King Wooby, hello to everybody out there. So, yeah, it was a tough L for the Miami Heat last night. And, guys, looking back on something, when Duncan Robinson signed his new 5-year, $90 million contract with the Miami Heat, he signed that contract while wearing a ski mask. Pat Riley should be asking for about 89 of those $90 million back that he's given to Duncan Robinson. Woof, he's had a rough start to the season. Now, the good news is last night, Duncan Robinson hit 5 3-pointers. The bad news, he attempted 17 yesterday. And then when Duncan Robinson, you want to talk about a mush. I think he might be the mush, not me. When Duncan Robinson tries to take a charge last night in the third quarter, he did a little flopperoo, and he Neymar'd right into Kyle Lowry like a freaking missile. And then Kyle Lowry leaves the game with an ankle sprain and didn't return. Oh, man. So Duncan Robinson, he's been off to a rough start, a bad start this season, and that is a problem. And that's obviously amplified when you lose. He's not been great when they've won. That gets amplified even further when you lose. Hopefully and eventually Duncan Robinson is going to find his touch and find his shot. Now, the biggest concern, and hopefully it's a short-term concern, not a long-term concern, coming out of the ass-whooping that the Miami Heat endured at the hands of the Boston Celtics last night. Maybe players-only meetings actually work. Maybe the Heat should be holding a players-only meeting because the Celtics are 2-0. They've looked pretty damn good since that players-only meeting. But no, the biggest thing that I'm concerned about right now, and I feel terrible because people are asking me questions on social media that I do not have answers to right now on the status of Kyle Lowry's ankle. Kyle Lowry, who took some friendly fire last night when Duncan Robinson slid into the ankle of Kyle Lowry. Lowry has already had a problem this season with that same left ankle that he hurt last night. Left ankle is the same reason why he missed the game against the Indiana Pacers that the Heat lost on overtime and didn't look the same without him back on October 23rd. So I don't have any inside information on this. I'm trying to get some, don't have any on Lowry's status right now. And hell, the Miami Heat, they keep things closer to the vest than any other organization in town, maybe in sports, period. It's probably going to be one of those things they're going to treat it like a day-to-day, night-to-night type of injury. But I am personally expecting Kyle Lowry to miss some time. The question is how much? Does he miss a game? Does he miss a week? Does he miss multiple weeks? Now, the Heat have a tough one at home tomorrow against the Utah Jazz. You'd love to have Lowry available for that game, but I'm not counting on it because, Manny Chang and I were talking, Shawn, Stanley, Chang, and I in the private chat before the show, and Manny brought up, they'll, even if he's like close to being able to play, they'll probably want to give him some rest before you go on a really long road trip. So I'm personally expecting Kyle Lowry to miss at least one game. I'd be shocked if he took the floor tomorrow. And so, now we have to look at the plan B, okay? Because remember that one game, I referenced it, where the Heat didn't have Lowry in the lineup. That was the loss to Indiana. Their pace and their space looked completely discombobulated. They looked like a different team on the offensive end of the floor. We all know that point guard is an area where depth is scarce on this Heat roster. Gabe Vincent, I don't think is the answer. I guess that depends on what the question is, but I don't think he is the answer to elevating the point guard position when Lowry cannot play. And so now you look at, and I'm going to send some greeting cards and maybe some flowers, mini muffins to Kyle Lowry to wish him a speedy recovery. The Heat are entering a pretty hellacious stretch, guys. Now, they've played some tough games. They've won some tough games already this season, right? I mean, I praise the Heat, rightfully so, for beating up on the Nets in Brooklyn, for beating up on the defending champ Milwaukee Bucks at home, for going to Dallas and beating up on the Mavericks. And that was probably the Mavericks game, which was 2 games ago. I would argue that was the most complete Miami Heat performance we've seen so far this season. It's unfortunate that they followed up that performance 2 nights later with an absolute clunker against the Boston Celtics. But you look at the stretch the Heat are entering now. They got one more home game before a very long road trip, all right? The home game is against the 7-1 Utah Jazz, one of, if not the best team in the NBA right now. That's their home game tomorrow night. Then the Heat go on the road to face the Denver Nuggets, mediocre win-loss record, but the Heat never seem to win in Denver. We will have a watch party for that one. That's going to be at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill, so I do want to watch that with all our friends and the whole community here. But you're at the Denver Nuggets. Then you're at the Los Angeles Lakers, probably without LeBron, but it's still a very tough road game. Then you're at the Clippers. Then you're at the Utah Jazz. So you play the Jazz twice in this stretch, once at home, once on the road. Then Oklahoma City on the road before you return home to face an awful New Orleans Pelicans team. But you have a handful of really tough games coming up. So the Heat's depth will be tested. How they respond from by far their worst performance of the season is going to be tested. Now, listen, I don't want to sound like I'm overreacting to the loss. I'm more worried about Kyle Lowry's ankle and Duncan Robinson's just ineffectiveness so far this year than I am about simply losing a game, okay? And I know our guy King Wooby pointed out, hey, it's one game. Don't get crazy, okay? we knew that a letdown could and will be coming at some point. I mean, that performance last night, from the injury to the shooting woes, it was Murphy's Law in action. The Heat got out-rebounded for the first time this season. Miami shot just 22% from threes. That's not cutting it. Obviously, our guy Duncan shooting under 30% didn't help that. The Heat shot under 35% from the floor. The Heat gave up a 30-5 scoring run in the first half of that game. Yes, I mean, if you want to look at a positive, yes, the Heat defense did hold Boston under 100 points, so there's that if you want to look for a feather in the cap. But yeah, the offense was completely off last night. I do believe, contrary to what David says in the comments, that one game could be just the beginning. Oh yeah, this is another one, as Alex V points out, 9 points in the second quarter. That was during that 30-5 Boston run. Good afternoon, by the way, to PB Matthew. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think the Heat can and they will rebound from that performance. I'm hoping that's the worst we're going to see them play all season. It's certainly the worst we've seen them play so far this season. But rebounding from that during a really tough stretch coming up, and possibly without Kyle Lowry in some of these games, will not be easy. Now, the recipe in how to respond and how to bounce back, I think it's pretty simple. First of all, we need Jimmy Butler to be, as he likes to say, stupidly locked in. Like, I know it's not playoff time, but Jimmy Butler, really up until last night, was playing at an MVP candidate sort of a pace. So we need Jimmy to be stupidly locked in. You know who else was bad last night? Tyler Hero had his worst game of the season by far. His plus-minus rating was -32 last night, Hero. So he needs to return to form. I have faith that he can, because he's put together, the first 7 games of the season. Also preseason, he was astoundingly good. Now, among all of the Heat's other problems, like last night was an uncharacteristically bad shooting night. The team's ceiling is so much higher. They'll have better shooting nights than that. So Miami, they do have the opportunity to show us, maybe for one game, maybe for longer, that they can be great even without Kyle Lowry, because obviously, the only game in full that he missed so far was the Indiana game, and they didn't look like themselves. So hopefully they can figure that out. And yeah, again, Zachary B, who just pops into the chat. Hello, Zachary B. He asked a question. I wish I had an answer to it right now. What about Kyle Lowry? I haven't seen anything today. I know Eric Spoelstra said last night Lowry sprained his left ankle, didn't return to the game. Spoelstra said last night we'll know more tomorrow. Tomorrow being today. I haven't seen any sort of an announcement yet. We need a backup QB, or a backup point guard. QB. Point guard, it is kind of the QB of the NBA. Yeah, we need a backup point guard. I agree wholeheartedly. David says the recipe is stop mushing. Rose, I got to tell you, I think Brooklyn Rob and David are starting to talk me into the idea that this mush thing that I have going on might be real. Well, let me bring in an arbitrator here. Shawn Stanley. Show yourself, sir. And Shawn Stanley, by the way, he had a birthday recently. So happy belated. Happy 25th birthday that you just celebrated the other day. I hope you're doing well.
Yes, doing well.
Manny Chang, you can show yourself as well, because I want to tell you guys the power of my mush yesterday. So oftentimes I will miss the start of a Heat game. If I'm putting my kid to bed, it's often around the times they start. Last night, I was locked in. Like I was on the couch, popcorn ready, not literally, but I was on the couch. I was zoned in from minute 1 of that game last night, and the Heat completely shit the bed. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, wow, I talked them up. I may have really mushed them. So around halftime, when the Heat were getting murdered and they scored 9 points in the second quarter, you know what I did? I flipped over to the Florida Panthers game, because I said, in case there's really something to my mush powers, I want to stop mushing the Miami Heat. Let me turn on the Florida Panthers game. When I flipped over to the Florida Panthers game, the score was 4-1 Panthers. All right? As I'm sitting there watching the game, 4-1 turns into 4-2, which turns into 4-3, which turns into 4-4. And I stopped watching before the overtime when the Panthers won in OT. So all that I saw was the Panthers giving up goals and the Heat getting pounded. I think we need an exorcist. Look, there's something going on with me. And Brooklyn Rob writes in, David and I are in negotiations to get you a Santeria priest to remove your case. You know, it's crazy because I had one of those, like a literal Santeria priest. Like they even had like chickens and goats. I'm not even joking. They had chickens and goats in their backyard. Used to live across the street from me. They got evicted. So like I mushed them as well. I mushed the Santeria priest. So I don't even know what's going on anymore with all this nonsense. Oh man. So what do you think, Manny? Manny, are the mush powers real? And you know what, guys? Because people, when I was watching these sporting events last night, I was getting suggestions on Twitter like, bro, just don't watch any games because you're mushing all the teams. I feel like if I had turned on the local news last night, there would have been a bunch of murders. Like just because I turned on the news, like I was mushing everything. Do you believe in this stuff, Manny?
Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah.
All right, because it's pouring over here.
Oh, it's pouring here. Bad.
Listen, I work every Panther game at home from the arena. As soon as we were up 2-0, I'm like, okay, let me go watch the Heat game. I don't know. Something was weird just watching them in those jerseys. I don't know what it was, but then Duncan hit 3 out of 4 threes, right, in the first quarter. I'm thinking, oh, okay, here we go. Finally, like Jimmy doesn't have to become super Jimmy. Kyle Lowry doesn't have to push the ball as he has. Bam can also just actually, I don't know, do other things. And then all of a sudden I go back to me working, and then Alexander Ovechkin decides to play hockey in the second period, and the Capitals score all of a sudden 3 goals to tie it up. I'm thinking, oh, and then I'm looking on Twitter, and he Nation's having a meltdown.
Oh
like,
my God.
what is this? And I look, I'm like, oh, this is all Alex Donno right here. This is Alex Donno. No, Alex, I'm gonna come to your defense here. I think last night was those damn awful jerseys, man.
The mush up jerseys.
It was the mush up jerseys. That's what it was. It wasn't Donald's mush. It was jerseys, the mush jerseys. That's exactly what it was, because not even a comeback, right? Like nothing. Like they were just effortless. It's like they left their entire offense in American Airlines Center. I don't know.
You know what's crazy? They're wearing those mashup jerseys. We call them the mush up. They're wearing those again tomorrow against Utah. This is going to get ugly. I mean, you think about, okay,
I'm not going to that game either.
So you might be the mush.
Last night's game, and I'm not going to tomorro's game.
So you not going is the mush. Oh no,
I don't know.
It's the anti-mush.
Oh no,
we have got we've won every game that I've attended. So I don't know.
Yeah, like honestly, if I were like, I don't know who's in charge of like picking what uniforms they wear. I don't know if it's like the PR department or like I feel like Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra probably don't give a shit what jerseys they wear. But like somebody, I think it's McCullough in the marketing department. Like somebody decides what jerseys they're wearing, if they're wearing special editions or if they're wearing regulars or throwbacks. If I were in charge, like if the Heat want to give me like preferably like a 7-figure paying job where I am in charge of making decisions like that, and I would apply my own superstitious sensibilities after the performance they put in against a not very good Boston Celtics team, mind you. Like the Boston Celtics have already lost to the New York freaking Knicks this year. No business losing to them. So you wear those mush up jerseys last night and you get soundly beaten by a bad Boston Celtics team. You're going to wear those jerseys again tomorrow night against the Utah Jazz, the 7-1 Utah Jazz. The Heat might lose by 50 tomorrow. Like, it's going to get really ugly. You know what I would do? If I were in charge of the Heat marketing department, I would have a ceremonial bonfire before the game where we set those jerseys on fire, where we raid the lockers of all those players. I'm confiscating your mashup gear. I would invite every Miami Heat fan who ordered one of those mashup jerseys to bring it in. We'll give you a full refund. We'll wash your hands of this situation. You can we're going to refund your jersey. You throw it onto the pile. We'll burn them all.
Alex, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the Heat already sent out an email about an hour ago, probably less. Customize your mush-up jerseys before they go on sale.
Got to be kidding me.
I swear to God. Hold on, let me go and find the email so I can tell you the exact time.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me with this.
No, how is it that you're blaming this on the mush-up jerseys, but yet you've already mushed the Heat? You switch over to Panthers game, 3 goals in less than a period.
Yeah.
You can blame. Were they wearing mashup jerseys too?
Oh my God. Look at
Yeah,
that.
there you go. 10 minutes ago.
That's crazy. Let me make an admission though. Because I trashed those jerseys like the way that they looked earlier this week. They don't look nearly as bad on the court, and I think the reason why is it's just hard to ruin a black jersey because like I honestly anytime like the Miami Hurricanes wear a black alternate, I love it. When the Miami Heat wear black, I think it looks good. It looks clean. Now this one doesn't exactly look clean because of all those colors and the whole ransom note thing that they have on there. But I did think it looked much better on the court than it does, just when it's in your face with the photo of the jersey. And the Mush Up Court, the Mush Up Court actually looks pretty good. So I'm here to tell you that even though the jersey clearly has negative universe powers, I will though add in that from a fashion standpoint, it's miles better than the vice versa's last year. Oh, and I agree with Alex Baumgartner. You need to bring back the back and black jerseys. Oh, and let me pull up another comment that Alex made. Brooklyn Rob with the super chat donation. Make sure Manny and Shawn get a piece. Well, no, they get. I always tell Ethan that when we do the payouts of the super chat, I said just funnel it to the producers. I'm not gonna take any of that. So that's gonna go all to Shawn Stanley, getting new workout shirts that he doesn't use to fill up his closet, and for Manny Chang buying more shoes
that flex
that are ugly. We appreciate but this and thank you again.
Quick, Alex. I think I have an idea for Ethan in 5 reasons. You can do mush-up jerseys, but put Donno with the different colors and a different setup on the front of it, and then you can get your own custom number in the back.
Really good.
I'm telling you. There you go. Idea. 5 reasons. But I want one this time. Not like the hat. I'm still waiting 3 years later.
And I'm not going to give my guy Michael Christian a pass either. Because remember, I'm Mush Senior. Michael Christian is Mush Junior. He predicted 82-0 before the season, then 81-1. Thank you, Brooklyn Rob. He's probably at 80-2 now. Oh, and I had to bring up this comment from grab your tinfoil hats. Hold on, I got it in here somewhere.
There we go. There's the whole group of us wearing it.
Okay, good, because I can't find. Oh, here, hold on. It's on the ground. Hold on.
Oh no, that might be the mush right there.
Yeah. I think my son likes this hat. He puts it on sometimes, so he probably he's a savage. He probably threw it on the floor somewhere. But no, this comment, this is perfect. So talk about my mush powers, and I'm completely sincere. This is a true story that happened to me this week. Okay. Now, a couple things. I wrote a tweet about how happy I was with Amazon because when I order on Amazon, I am not a Prime member because I'm very frugal, and the Prime membership, it's like over $100 a year. No thanks, right? So when I order items on Amazon, I select the free shipping option, right? Like I'm not going to pay extra to get it sooner. I'm not in any rush. Like I'd rather save some money than get it sooner. So I was delighted earlier this week. I made an order on Amazon for a couple of different household products, okay, including a rice cooker because I wanted to make steamed rice. And I'm like, it's time I get a rice cooker. So I make an Amazon order, and this was excellent by Amazon. I selected the free shipping. I ordered this, I think, on Tuesday, and they told me it was going to arrive on Sunday, and I did free shipping, and it actually arrived 24 hours later. It arrived just a day later. And so I tweeted about Amazon and how happy I was. And Amazon tweeted me back. It was a love fest. But here's how I mushed them, okay? I ordered, and this is like the most adult problem ever, okay? I ordered a rice cooker, a rice steamer that was advertised as 3 cups of rice, right? And then I get it, and it was very misleading. It's just a cup and a half uncooked, which becomes 3 cups cooked. Bullshit. Absolute freaking bullshit. And so I show this thing to my wife, and she's like, what, did you get a personal rice cooker? Because that's not enough for 2 people. So I had to return it today. And I'm not ripping on Amazon because their return process is very easy and convenient, okay? So it went well, all right? But this is true. I tweeted this. There's literally nothing better than when you choose the free shipping option at Amazon instead of paying for next day delivery, and it still arrives the next day. That happened to me. The problem was they sent me this Fugazi undersized rice cooker, and I had to return it. So I mushed Amazon. And by the way, Shake Money, thank you so much for the super chat donation. It's all good fun. Thanks for the content. Thank you so much, my friends. We love it. And yeah, if you guys, if you can't, it's no big deal, man. We love the interactions anyway. But if you're able to make the super chat donations here, we love that as well. You're going to need Prime to watch Thursday NFL football. Is that so? Like, are they going to only Prime?
I think at the end of the year, near the end of the year, yeah, it switches up.
Wow. I'm really annoyed by that.
How much rice do you eat though? If the 3 cups of rice doesn't work for you, I mean, what do you?
It's not really enough for 2 people. Like a cup and a half of rice. Like I can't. Like we like to make things enough where we have leftovers, and it's
Alex,
really and even on the box. Yeah, go ahead,
Alex. But you do know that a lot of nutritionists say that when you eat rice, especially rice, you're supposed to probably eat just a handful in one setting. That's it. All right. So a cup maybe has maybe 2 handfuls. So if you wanted 3 cups out of it, I mean, you
do know that as you make the one, you can eat that, and then you can start making your stuff for leftovers afterwards. Or was this only make rice once and you had to throw the cooker away?
Or you could be like me, you just buy the prepackaged ones of Uncle Ben's, and all you gotta do is put it in.
It's not the same. No. Here's the thing. No, it's honestly, it's not the same. Like, because my parents have a rice cooker, which cooks several cups of rice. Okay. And that's the only way you can make the rice taste like it tastes from a Chinese restaurant, which I love, bro. You give me one of those, like the little containers of the steamed rice, I could eat 100 of those. I think just steamed rice is one of the most delicious foods God ever made. And the only way to really make it taste like that is with the rice steamer. I decided I wanted one, and I need one. I need one to make it multiple servings.
We have
Amazon rice cookers made in Wuhan.
we have breaking news, by the way.
Oh,
did we get Odell Beckham?
No, Aaron Rodgers tells Pat McAfee on his show, "I didn't lie."
I was watching that. Yeah. Well, no, I want to talk about that a little bit here. And I don't know what happened to Stephen D. Stephen D was supposed to join us. He hasn't popped in yet. Regardless of whether or not Stephen D shows himself, we will definitely be talking with Lee Sterling in about 13 minutes. Man, Mush does not eat a handful of anything. Yet he's right. He's 100% right. 5-course dinners. I'm actually right now, I'm on a pretty savage diet. Because, dude, I let and thank you so much, my friends,
Andrew
for the donations.
Andrew knows.
Uncle Ben's is all you need.
Andrew knows. Yeah, the Uncle Ben's pre-made rice.
The orange packet, Uncle Ben's, baby.
Thank you so much.
Listen, all you got to do is open the sides. That's it. Put it in the microwave 2 minutes. Nice and moist, man.
Perfect.
I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. I want
when you
to
work 3-4 jobs like me, I don't have time to cook.
Or you're just lazy like me.
Exactly.
No, and so I've returned my small ass Fugazi rice cooker, and I'm gonna go buy a new one in a store so I know exactly what I'm getting. I'm gonna get one big enough to feed the entire neighborhood,
so that you can actually make about 8 cups of rice and then just throw the leftovers
away. Absolutely. I'm gonna get one large enough to serve the entire freaking block. I'm gonna make sure.
Listen, every time you throw away that rice, I hope you're thinking about the children overseas, man.
Yeah.
I mean, why you gotta go there, bro? The children overseas.
Oh no, brother, Alex Jones. You gotta feed the children.
I'll send some of my leftover rice to the kids overseas. Like, what do you want me to do? You want me to FedEx my rice to a third world country? I'll do it.
We are in the month of giving, Donno.
Oh man. Somebody said you returned to Kohl's.
Yes, everything. Listen, guys, if you don't know this, when you buy stuff from Amazon, just go to Kohl's, man. And Kohl's always gives you like a 20% coupon or something.
Really? Oh, I took it to the UPS store. If I had known I could have gotten a coupon, I would have taken it to Kohl's.
Alex,
for sure.
Go to Kohl's. Anything you buy from Amazon, you return at Kohl's. Kohl's gives you something always, like 10%, 20%.
I did not know that. And there's a Kohl's not far from me, but I chose the location nearest to me to make an Amazon return was a UPS store. It was like, a mile away.
So that rice cooker you wanted as well.
It's a good point. I could have gotten it right there. Oh man. But no, if you like Manny, you mentioned the Aaron Rodgers thing. I watched the interview because everybody was tweeting about it. So I went and I watched it today. And where Aaron Rodgers made himself look like a buffoon today was he didn't know when to stop talking, right? Because the longer he went on, the more he started to sound like Kyrie Irving. Like the way I would describe Aaron Rodgers today, you could do the Spider-Man meme where it's Kyrie Irving and Aaron Rodgers. They started to sound a lot alike because honestly, the way that Aaron began his explanation as, to why he's not vaccinated. Now, I think to me, the bigger issue is him lying about it and not following the protocols. I think that's the bigger issue. But when he was explaining why he's not vaccinated, the first part of it actually made some sense, okay? Because he talked, and I have to assume he's telling the truth here, but if I'm going to assume he's telling the truth, like he mentioned that he is allergic to an ingredient in mRNA vaccines. So he cannot take Pfizer or Moderna, right? And he did have the option of taking the Johnson & Johnson, but, there were those issues with the side effects and the blood clots. So he decided, I don't want to take the Johnson. Yeah. And there you go. This is a quote. "I'm not an anti-vax flat earther," he says. "I have an allergy to an ingredient that's in the mRNA vaccines. I found a long-term immunization protocol to protect myself, and I'm very proud of the research that went into that from Aaron Rodgers." But the thing is, like, if he had just stopped there, I think people would have been like, okay, that's reasonable. And like, I could accept that part of it, okay, because I have someone in my family or an in-law who, for valid medical reasons, had to get for his job an exemption from getting the vaccine because he is, like Aaron Rodgers, allergic. Okay. And he's extremely careful. He's basically a homebody who doesn't, go around people anyway. And anytime he is around people, he's wearing a mask, extremely careful. But yeah, I do have someone in my family who, for medical reasons, could not get the vaccine, got an exemption for it. So I can respect that part of it. Now, I personally am vaccinated. I made that choice to do that, so I can respect that. But then when Aaron Rodgers started to sound a little crazy is when he starts talking about my body, my choice. He finds a way to quote Martin Luther King and then quote Joe Rogan. It just like it went down this really crazy avenue. So, and yeah, like Andrew Green writes in, hold on, go back to that comment. Yeah, everything he said after that makes you wonder if the allergy is even truthful. Yeah, because like he talked about not getting it because he has an allergy, but then he basically went on to explain why it doesn't sound like he would have gotten it anyway if he didn't have an allergy. So it's weird. Low-key tried Kyrie. Maybe Aaron Rodgers was on Ambien. I mean, listen, when I'm on Ambien, I do say some crazy things, but nothing that crazy. He
really said this, that the right's going to champion me and the left is going to cancel me. I don't give a crap about either of them. Politicals. What? Where are we going with this? Like,
the thing is, hold on. I didn't hear that part of it. I agree with that part. That's probably the least crazy thing he said. But I don't give a shit about either of them. Politics is a total scam. I'm not going on Fox News, just like I'm not going to go on C. Actually, like I'm totally cool with that part of it. I was having a conversation with my sister yesterday, she's a political scientist. She is a poli-sci professor. And she leans very much left, probably even more than I do. But I lean left on a lot of things, and I lean right on certain things economically because I consider myself, although there's no perfect classification for me, because I do think that some of the people in my political party are batshit crazy. I am a registered libertarian, but there's a lot of fucking crazy people who are libertarians. So I don't want to paint myself with any sort of broad brush. So I'm right on some things. I'm far left on other things. And like I was having a conversation with my sister, who's a poli-sci professor, and she agreed with me that Republicans and Democrats, like you can argue all day about which side is worse. Probably Republicans, but you can argue all day about that. But both of them, they try to divide people. Like they try to, bring up all of these religion, race issues to make both sides hate each other. And a lot of it is tearing our country apart, man. So, well, we got off on a little bit of a tangent there, but I didn't think Mr. Rodgers looked very good today. Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood. He talked too much. Like he talked too much.
He just stayed quiet. I mean, at that point,
yeah.
I mean, you're out for the Sunday game. He got upset that the NFL released supposedly, and now I feel like he just, he's got his platform with McAfee, and he went on there and now just really opened up even more. I mean, just for what?
Yeah, absolutely. Trevor Gaffney writes in, learned 2 phrases long ago. 1, no comment. 2, speak to my attorney. Maybe that's where Rodgers, but Rodgers, he goes on the Pat McAfee show every week. That's like his safe space. Like whenever I watch him on there, and I guess credit to Pat McAfee for this, right? There are certain interviewers. He's like, I grew up on Howard Stern. I do from time to time, not saying I agree with everything that he talks about, but I do from time to time listen to the Joe Rogan Experience. I watch these McAfee shows sometimes. There are certain interviewers that have this ability to make the people they're interviewing forget that there are millions of people listening to it. Like it's really like when you hear like the things people have said to like Howard Stern over the years, and Rodgers does this with McAfee, you get the sense that when he starts talking, it's like he kind of forgets that there are millions of people that are going to watch this and listen to this, and I'm going to sound incredibly crazy. It's like you're just having a conversation with your friends.
Yeah, sometimes, and also I think that's why he goes on that show every week. He feels, with him and what is it? Is AJ Hawk, right? Is the other one on there?
Yeah,
McAfee, and again, it's a platform for him where he kind of, I guess, feels safe. But again, at this point now, the best thing to me would be just stay quiet for right now. Why?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing you say either way is gonna help
make it worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right about that. So another thing that has South Florida sports fans talking up an absolute storm today is Odell Beckham Jr. So Odell Beckham, he has been released by the Cleveland Browns. Now, I get it. This is a diva wide receiver, an absolute diva wide receiver. Like he's got family members who even create issues. His father, shared that video of Baker Mayfield not throwing to him or throwing poorly to him. It's like there is a certain amount of baggage that comes with Odell Beckham Jr., but you think about where the Miami Dolphins are, one of the worst teams in the NFL. They are second on the waiver order. So the Dolphins have number 2 waiver priority. And now everybody's wondering, should the Dolphins put in a claim for Odell Beckham Jr.? And pull up a couple of the tweets here that I put in the group chat. Start with the one from Alfredo Arteaga, right? Because you see a lot of this in the narrative for the Dolphins. Yeah, the Miami Dolphins right now, they are really bad, and they do seem to be dysfunctional. Okay, I don't think I'm breaking any news here, but I totally stand with our guy Alfredo Arteaga from the Extra Yard, who joins us every Monday on this show, by the way. Quote, we can't handle him is not an excuse to pass up on Odell Beckham Jr.'s talent. Like it's weird that like even Dolphin fans, they hate themselves and they hate their own team so much that they don't want to bring in a generational talent like Odell Beckham Jr. because they think, and they may be right about it, but they think, oh, our own coaching staff and our locker room and our ownership and our front office can't actually handle this guy. So it's like, why do you want to deny yourself nice things? It's like, okay, if you don't feel like the coaching staff can handle Odell Beckham, go get a new coaching staff, right? I mean, this is the type of talent you can't pass up on. And yeah, the Dolphins that I mentioned, they are second in the waiver order. Only the Detroit Lions are in front of the Dolphins. And Zachary B may be right. He says the Lions will snag him, but please, OBJ, please, please, please. And there's another conversation being had where I can't tell if people understand how the waiver wire works or not until OBJ clears waivers. Like if he clears waivers, if nobody puts in a claim, then if he clears waivers, he becomes a free agent and can sign wherever he chooses. But if somebody puts in a waiver claim, then he can't technically choose who acquires him, right? The choice is not not in his hands right now. And like Louis D. Sung tweeted out, yeah, the waiver wire means if Miami claims Odell Beckham Jr., it guarantees he wears aqua and orange. What that does not guarantee is he'll play nice and actually decide to take the field. How much faith is there in Coach Flores to handle OBJ's quirks? I think the juice is worth the squeeze. I think it's worth a try. Now, let me bring in let me bring in our special guest on this episode, a man who makes us money. So we love him. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Now, Lee, if the Dolphins have a pretty nice opportunity here with Odell Beckham on the waiver wire, only the Lions could snag him up before the Miami Dolphins. Is it worth a shot here? Or are you like some of the fans with a loser mentality who say, oh, no, this guy is too dysfunctional, we can't bring him in? I say take a shot at OBJ.
I wouldn't.
Ooh, why?
I think he is a cancer in the locker room, number one. I think he's lost a step or two. He was, in his prime, he was scary good.
Yeah.
But I've had ACL surgery before too. Not the same usually. Sometimes some guys come back 2 years later and they're the same. Look at Cooper Kupp. But most guys probably not the same. So is he going to take you over the top? No. You got to start from scratch. DeVante Parker, it's a joke. This guy can't stay healthy. Hamstrings, calf muscles, everything. It doesn't even look like he gets hit hard. If you're that big, you're that fragile, he's done. The list goes on and on. Even Albert Wilson, we thought this guy in training camp the first 10 days, that's all they were talking about. So I think you start almost all over at the receiver position. And it's just a shame, that we've whiffed on so many guys. If we would have gone and gotten Herbert and a left tackle, just forget everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
We're 6-1, 5-2 right now.
Yeah, you're probably right. and how many? And listen, missing out on Herbert, the Dolphins have missed out on Drew Brees. They missed out on Lamar Jackson, who the owner reportedly wanted.
I watched a press conference from Chris Greer. It was embarrassing. How I am a former college quarterback. I'm not watching it live. They got to go live and see games.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing I miss, if I see a kid's velocity, I can see a lot more. If I can see individual workouts, there is no way that Justin Herbert should not have been taken ahead of Tua. He was bigger, stronger, faster, healthier. The excuse that he's not a leader, he wasn't, he's not demonstrative, doesn't talk and yell at his, get his teammates fired up. I thought it was bullshit.
Yeah.
For that alone. The other 6, 7, 8 whiffs that he's had the last couple of years, first, second, and third round. That alone, goodbye. And what scares me is it sounds like he and Flores were in conjunction agreeing on most of the stuff. I'd like to find out. I want to put both of them together. Which guys did you agree on? Which did you disagree? They might tell a different story now, Alex.
Yeah.
What they said before and what they say now. I think Flores can actually be a good coach, but he needs a general manager that makes decisions and knows what he's doing.
Well, then let me start with the Dolphins. We're joined here by Lee Sterling. His website is ParamountSports.com. He's been joining us since the inception of this program, and we've done well winning money here with Mr. Sterling. Miami Dolphins hosting the Houston Texans. How ironic that this is the team they host after all of that Deshaun Watson stuff, which ultimately led to no trade being made. I haven't checked the line as of today, but I noticed that it moved yesterday when confirmation of Tyrod Taylor happened. Right. It went to about 5.5. Dolphins 5.5-point favorites. So what do you like there? And obviously this is the same Miami Dolphins team that's already managed to lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I don't know how much faith I have, Lee.
Well, this is going to be the last time. Go with the Dolphins.
Ooh.
If they can't win and cover here. Now, Tyrod Taylor has done extremely well. Look at his quarterback rating against the Dolphins. But I keep hearing, how this group is together, how they're so close. Still don't love the receiving core. I don't think it's good enough right now, but they've got to come up with a couple takeaways. Tyrod Taylor hasn't played since the first week of the year?
I think the second week.
Second week. Okay. You got to dominate that offensive line. We got to see more sacks. We're not seeing much pressure on the quarterback. if we see even close to the effort on defense we saw in the first half, they should get a couple takeaways. I'm not saying the offense has to do much. I like Miami 24-10. Like I said, if they don't win and cover, done with them. We're not even going to talk about them anymore. All right.
Fair enough. I'll keep that in mind. If they don't win and cover next week, I'm just skipping. I'm skipping right past the Dolphins.
Don't exist. I mean, I've already switched in my mind to Heat basketball and Panthers hockey. So
yeah. Well, and speaking of the Heat, Lee, they just had a really poor performance last night, and it's not so much just the game itself that worries me. I'd love to know how long Kyle Lowry might be out after injuring his ankle yesterday. So it may be hard to handicap the game tomorrow night. I'm going to assume he's probably not going to play tomorrow night. I think it's just a question of how long he's out. Tomorrow night, the Utah Jazz are in town. That's a really tough one. Do you have any thought on Heat Jazz tomorrow?
I don't, because, Mitchell missed the game for Utah last night.
Right.
What was weird was on a lot of these injury updates, and I pay for a service besides what you can get for free, they had Rudy Gobert as being out, and Mitchell is questionable. Gobert plays and Mitchell doesn't. I mean, I'll wait until I see who's going to play and who's not going to play. I have no feel in the game.
So what do we like for this weekend? Because it is a big one. It's a big one with a lot of football, hockey, NBA, UFC. It's a really stacked card on Saturday on pay-per-view. So what do we like this weekend?
So I can't trust the University of Miami laying 10.5 points.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I think that's too much. I think Georgia Tech can keep it close. Jeff Sims is one of these feast or famine quarterbacks. He looks great, but then he can drop the ball as he's running. I mean, it's crazy with him. But they'll come to play. I just don't trust this young team laying 10.5 points. Another game that I like Texas A&M over Auburn. Think that given Jimbo Fisher a couple weeks to prepare with a bye week, he'll dial up some home run hitting plays, and he's got some running backs and receivers that are, high-end guys that can catch a ball, break a tackle, go the distance. I don't think Auburn has that. NFL, I like the Denver Broncos. So Dallas, who I love this year. I've been riding Dallas. They're 7-0 against the spread, 6-1 straight up. No team has ever gone 16-0 against the spread. Well, it's now 17 games. You're not going to see a team go 15-2 against the spread. It's not going to happen. So Denver, most people get the feeling, they're done. They traded away Von Miller. They're still 4-4. Their defense, 5 of 8 games, have held opponents to 17 points or less. Only one team has scored more than 30 points on this defense. So I'm not asking Denver to win 3 out of 4. I'm not asking them to cover 3 out of 4. 1 week to cover. And we all know Teddy Bridgewater real well. He's one of these guys that, it's 3rd and 6. A lot of times he gets the first down, scrambles for 7 yards. He's not going to get up to the line and snap the ball with 10, 15 seconds to go. It's going to take his time, look over the defense. They want to shorten the game here. And people will play Dallas. Like last week, everyone played Minnesota. They're going to play Dallas here because Dak's back. Line's 10 points. I think it's a low-scoring game. I think Dallas wins something like 24-23, but doesn't cover.
Love it.
And then UFC. This is a great card here, and not the undercard is nothing special, but
the main card is stacked.
Stacked. Every fight is a must-see fight. I mean, you could have that as almost either a fight night top billing or as a top billing on a UFC pay-per-view. So we're going to take one of those fights. Marlon Chito Vera laying 160 to Frankie the Answer Edgar. Frankie Edgar's lost 5 straight fights, and what happens is a lot of times you get to be 38, 39, 40 years old. Your reflexes go. You're shot. You can't get your hands up to protect yourself as quick. That punch that you might have shook off or been able to hold on with your opponent and last a round, you can't do it. I just think that this is his swan song. So I think if he fights after this, I think he's going to get cut. If he loses this fight, I think he will get cut here. I think just Vera, 29, few more tools in the toolbox. He's still ascending. Edgar, steep decline, lay the 160. He'll get the win.
By the way, as you were earlier, you were rightfully criticizing DeVante Parker for being so injury prone. And this literally happened while we were talking, Lee, as Zachary B points out, and I verified this. Not that I don't trust Zachary. Right. I always want to double check everything. Yeah. He has been placed on injured reserve, DeVante Parker. So minimum 3 weeks he's out. Oh,
what did he slip when he was in the supermarket?
You remember when Laramie Tunsil slipped in the shower?
Yeah.
That's the kind of luck the Dolphins are having.
Don't laugh. I've had that happen to me.
That's true. Yeah.
So, I just, it's almost laughable at this point.
Yeah, man, it really is. No, but I love it, and I completely agree with you on Marlon Vera. And by the way, Lee, if you have the opportunity, if you're around, we're having a watch party, not for the UFC, but for on Monday night, we're having a Heat Nuggets watch party and Monday Night Football out at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill out in Sunrise, the one right by the FLA Live Arena. So you are more than invited, sir, to come out and hang out with us.
Chance I might be able to make it. We'll see. See how my weekend goes.
Exactly. We'll see if you got some extra money to burn. Although they do have that affordable happy hour, 2-for-1 happy hour going on. So you're not gonna have to spend too much.
I'm usually working on Monday. I'm usually starting to break down games. So. Yeah. We'll see how my work goes, see how my weekend goes, and how my work goes. So it's a combination of everything.
And if you are able to come out, bring me that tracksuit.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll have the tailor start fitting you for one.
I love it. Yeah, exactly. Right. ParamountSports.com is the website. Just let people know what they can find there, Lee.
Well, this weekend, what we have is 7 games on Saturday, $77. 5 on Sunday, $55 for the NFL. They're an instant download. You don't have to call me back Saturday morning or Sunday morning. We've got them rated also from a low of 10 to a high of 50 units. So you can gauge how you want to play and make your bets. So 7 for Saturday, $77. 5 on Sunday for $55. I actually had a losing weekend last weekend. I mean, there's handicappers that come on there, the Brandon Langs, the Vegas Daves tell you they win all the time and, come up with made up stories. I'm not going to do that. I had a horrible, the Bad Beat show, on Monday nights after the ESPN game, 3 of the 4 games they covered were games that I had. Now, I also had some other bad calls. I didn't just have bad beats, but it was a horrible weekend. But I have come back this week. I won Monday night. We had the under in the Chiefs game. We had Eastern Michigan. Everyone loves Maction, right?
Mm-hmm. Maction, of course.
Some crazy stuff going on there on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. There's games every single day of the month, I think, this month in November, because we got Tuesday and Wednesday games for Maction. So we won Eastern Michigan. We won last night with Indianapolis, which should never have been close. I mean, up 42-10. Had to sweat that out in the end. So I'm usually good on the comeback. Rarely do I have 2 losing weeks. Just go to ParamountSports.com.
I love it. Thank you so much, Lee. Enjoy your weekend.
Might see you Monday.
I hope so.
All right. Take care.
I love it. Great stuff by Lee Sterling. Awesome job by everybody in the chat. I think I agree here with Welch. It's already a circus in that organization. Just go get Odell Beckham Jr. Why? Why are you shaking your head?
Because if I'm the Rams, I am calling him and I'm saying, what is it that you want to do in this league that you haven't accomplished? Is there anything that you would probably feel it's more, not an urgent, but more of a goal of yours, right? Because right now we are a football team that has a defense. We have an offense. The one thing that we don't have is a guy that can actually go down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, but tough luck for the Rams, because if the Dolphins put in a waiver claim, they're not getting him.
Why in the hell would he want to go to Miami? He's not going to
matter. Put in a waiver claim. He's ours. You convince him to play later.
For what? What the hell is he going to want to be there for?
Can actually give Tua somebody to throw to who's not on IR like this.
Yeah, that's if Tua can be standing upright before he gets hit in the pocket.
Hold on. Let me bring Luca in. Luca, come on in.
Luca, the voice of reason. Thank you.
I think my family, we put the fear. Come on in. We put the fear of God in him, because he's come in and he's crashed the show before, and then he's been told, do not go in when daddy is working. But the thing is, like, it's not like I work a real job. Like, it's, it's not like I'm, do you want to say something, Luca?
No.
Who's your favorite sports team?
Lautaro.
Oh, see, that's his favorite player, Lautaro Martinez from Inter. That's his favorite player. Who's your favorite team?
Inter.
Oh, I've got a little Interista here. I love it. Do you want to say anything to the good people before we wrap up here? What do you want to do? Do you want me to play with you?
Yeah.
What do you want to play? What do you want to play? Do you want to play a game with me?
Yeah.
Hold on, say it to the microphone. That's your first lesson.
I want to play a game with you, Dada.
Oh, okay, that's great. I better get to it. Huge shout out to everybody.
Magic hand. Okay?
Oh, yeah, I play this game called the Magic Hand where it's like, oh, hello, I am a magic hand. And then he slaps it. Oh, it's crazy. So, you see the hat? Hold on. Look at this. There we go. The tinfoil hat.
What?
I love it. Oh, we should play some Mario Kart. He has played Super Mario 64. Mario Kart, he just drives into the wall repeatedly. I want to send a huge shout out to everybody.
That's a magic hand.
Okay, we'll play it. Just let me finish. I got to shout out the sponsors, okay? Huge shout out to our good friends at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. We will see you guys out at the Quarterdeck on Monday night. Miami Heat at Denver Nuggets watch party, Monday Night Football watch party. Come for the food, stay for the fun. And guys, make sure you are checking out and having a great time with us wagering games, whether it's football games, soccer games, NBA games, pop culture, horse races. You can find odds for everything at America's favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, and sign up with our code 5RSN125. And you can get a 125% sign-up bonus, 5RSN125. And by the way, hold on, exactly right here. His hair comes from mom's side, clearly. Yeah, he didn't get. I love that. He clearly did not get my locks of hair, my non-existent locks of hair. Hopefully, he keeps his hair. I appreciate it. He's having a good time. He's going to be taking over the show for me someday. And by the way, if you sign up at BetUS.com and you use our code 5RSN125, send us a screenshot signing up with our code. Send it to me on Twitter. Is he going to hit me in the head with a shovel? Send us a screenshot signing up with our code 5RSN125, and you can win a $20 Quarterdeck gift card. So double bonus, 125% sign-up bonus. The kid's trying to murder me here. 125% sign-up bonus, and you can also win a $20 Quarterdeck gift card. That'll do it for us. Have a great week, everybody. Huge shout-out to Lee Sterling today. Huge shout-out to Shawn Stanley and Manny Chang. Huge shout out to everybody in the chat. We will talk to you guys again on Monday right here on Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Ciao.